Welcome in, guys. Hope y'all are doing well. Another day of Right on Rangers live. Appreciate the wait while I was getting things set up on my end. We're going to get into everything in just a little bit here. 1-0 Rangers lose today. Tough game. Tough game. Hey, what's up, Steve? I'm kind of trolling around on all the different socials. For those of y'all that have been watching the lives for a while, you know that we're kind of on a little bit of everything. I got the Facebook going, TikTok, Instagram. So I'm kind of bouncing around. So be patient with the comments. I'll move back and forth. But it's good to see all you guys as usual. I appreciate y'all tuning in. It's always a little bit tough doing lives after these really excruciatingly tough losses, but we're here, right? We talk it out, and it's a new day tomorrow. Astros series coming up this weekend. That should be interesting. It's actually very, I think, coincidental. Astros kind of just got waxed by the Royals in their midweek series. Astros lost again today, which makes it a little bit easier to take the Rangers losing to the A's today 1-0. Astros lose 13-3 today to the Royals. Royals have beaten up on the Astros the last few days. I don't know if it was a clean sweep or not. The Astros might have gotten swept. At least we were able to take one. I think the Royals very well may have swept the Astros in that series this week. So that is at least one solace we can take for now. So let's talk about everything Rangers and especially the game today. I'll give you my breakdown. We'll go through the box score. We'll ask some of the big questions of the day and some that just came into my mind as the game was going on. I did radio today and watched highlights, so listened to most of the game by radio over my lunch and over a couple of breaks I had during the day. So we'll see if y'all can fill in some of the gaps. I wasn't able to watch every single at bat, but got to see some of the big highlights. So I think we'll be all good. And of course, listen to Eric Nadel and the boys on the radio. So I think we'll be fine. But let's go ahead and just get right into it. So let's talk offense first. So Rangers actually had leadoff walks in 3 or 4 different innings today. So in the first inning, Simi walks, steals second, all with no outs. So the Rangers in the bottom of the first have a runner on second, no outs, and you're not able to score any runs off that. Seager strikes out. Langford had a productive out, sac fly that got Simi to third base, but Rangers were not able to bring home Simi. And whenever you've got a runner on second base with no outs, you've got to be able to score them. Have to be able to score them. So I think that was kind of the story of the day, just not taking advantage of the opportunities that the Rangers did have, and they were few and far between today. And that's what happens. You only get a few opportunities sometimes when you're facing a pitcher that's kind of dealing like J.P. Sears was for the Oakland A's today. Didn't expect that from J.P. Sears, by the way. That kind of came out of nowhere. So we will see how J.P. Sears does the rest of the year, but I'm not going to be shocked if he doesn't repeat this performance, taking a no-hitter into the 6th inning. Rangers, I think, are kind of on the bad side of this so far, but I can't say that there's been another team in the MLB that has been no-hit for 6+ innings multiple times. It's a little concerning. We try to have a pretty level perspective here at Right on Rangers and not overreact. But we'll do a little overreaction just for fun later on. But I have a pretty level head about the beginning of the season in this Rangers offense. I feel like, they obviously are missing some key pieces. I think you see that happening right now. I think Seager going 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts today. The golden sombrero, as they say. Not a great day for him. And Siegs is, I think, still hitting over 300. But you do just kind of wonder, is he all the way back? I think he's still coming out of recovery from that hernia surgery injury. I think that without spring training, You're still seeing him kind of feel things out a little bit, kind of get back in the groove of things. There's still a lot of time, and I think honestly he's going to be just fine. I don't want to at all fire off any kind of alerts about Corey Seager. I think he's going to be fine. But 0 for 4 with 4 Ks today. Anytime Siegs is giving you the golden sombrero, the offense as a whole, you're just not going to be shocked to see he's not scoring very much. As Seager goes, the Rangers go. I really do feel that way. It's not a shock to me that both games Seager sat out, the Rangers have lost. Now they've got to figure that out. Right? They've got to be able to win games without Corey Seager being his best or without Corey Seager in the lineup. Aaron thanks 311 still. Yeah, I figured he was still over 300. So he's going to be fine, but he just didn't have it today, striking out 4 different times. Maybe it's the lefty-on-lefty matchup, Sears being a lefty. Seager didn't have great numbers against JP Sears coming into this, but without him clicking, the Rangers aren't going to be the juggernaut that they usually are, scoring close to 10 runs. At least that's what it felt like at times last year, right? It's like every time you looked up in April or May, the Rangers were scoring 10 plus. That's what it felt like, at least. But let's keep going. We had, like I said, about 3 different times where the Rangers had a leadoff walk and just couldn't do anything with it. Rangers went 1, 2, 3 back-to-back innings in the 3rd and the 4th. They went 1, 2, 3 in the 6th, 1, 2, 3 in the 8th. A lot of 1, 2, 3 innings. It was a quick game today. Ugly game to watch for the Rangers on the offensive side of things. And, of course, there was kind of a weird play. The Rangers have been on the other end of a couple of really weird plays. So in the series against the Rays, the weird play was where the Rays shortstop caught the ball, and they ruled that he did make the catch, but on the transfer dropped it. And clearly on the replays in that Rays series, on that one particular play I'm talking about, the shortstop had never secured the catch, but they ruled it one anyways. Tonight, my honest take on the infield fly rule, it really didn't look like that was a ball that anybody was camped under. It's really frustrating. I think it's bad luck. But I can't say that I'm outraged at the call that the umpires made to not rule infield fly. I think it was Jared Walsh pinch hitting when that happened. And it's kind of one of those weird pop flies on the infield that's in between the pitcher and the second base, and it falls. Second baseman kind of tried to make a diving attempt. This is all in the 7th inning, by the way. It was kind of the Rangers' only real inning where they had multiple base runners. So Doley ended the no-hit bid in the 7th inning. He's just the no-hit killer, man. I'll tell you what, he ended the no-hitter that the Astros were throwing over the weekend. He ends the no-hitter that JP Sears was throwing today. So Doley gets on, Heim gets hit by a pitch, and then you just have that pop-up double play. It's just super unlucky. I mean, I don't think it was an infield fly, because infield fly is when the infielder is clearly camped under the ball, or the umpire deems that the infielder could have clearly camped under the ball and made the catch. I think it's a little bit of a reach to say that that ball was a ball that anybody could have camped under. I know some people were saying the pitcher could have had it. Pitchers really are not taught to get underneath fly balls unless it's literally right at them. Pop flies on the infield, pitchers are getting out of the way. So you had the second baseman kind of at a dead sprint in on that one. So for me, I'm okay with the call. Mike, I totally disagree. There was nobody camped under the ball. Everybody was running in on that baseball. I'm not going to pull up the replay, but nobody was camped under that ball. Pitcher is not going to be running after a ball like that. So agree to disagree. Look, we can go back and forth about it all day. I'm just telling you my 2 cents on it. It's not an obvious call. And trust me, I'm not a big fan of some of the umpiring I've seen so far, but I don't think that it was an obviously bad call. I think it's one that I could see going both ways. I'll give you that. Now, if they would have called infield fly, would I have been shocked? No. Was I shocked that they didn't call it? No. I think you had multiple guys running in on that ball, and it's tough. It's a really tough call. So I think it could have gone both ways. I know most Rangers fans aren't going to be happy about it, but I'm okay with the call. It just sucks that it happened to us in that moment. That's how I feel about it. It was just very bad timing, very unlucky. It's a call that you can debate, I think, all day long till you're blue in the face, but it was just very unlucky, very bad timing. And I will say this, I would have liked to see a little bit of a better reaction out of everybody on the base paths. So the ball drops, you can hear the infield umpires calling infield fly. They are pretty obvious about the infield fly call whenever it is called. So I really don't think that anybody reacted once it wasn't called. I think maybe they were just stunned. I don't know. But you got to think that when the ball hits the ground, people should be moving, and just didn't seem like anybody was moving when the ball hit the ground. Just kind of deer in the headlights. So for me, once you see that the balls hit the ground, you got to be busting your butt, getting to the spot where you need to go, second base, third base, wherever. It's a tough play, probably still would have been a double play anyways. But personally, I would have liked to have seen guys get moving and at least make an attempt. It's just one of those awkward in-between plays. And I really don't know what would have happened after that. So if we kind of play it out game, maybe we get just one out of that instead of two. But you got to feel like at least one person is getting out in that situation. Maybe it's not a double play, but at least one person is getting out there. So I don't know. You can't really play that game. Who knows what would have happened? But the Rangers are probably going to get at least one out in that scenario. So, even if you do say, hey, infield fly, there's one out for sure. And even if it was better with the base running, I still think at minimum there's going to be one out. So I don't really know. Would have taken a couple of clutch hits to get the Rangers on the board. Who knows what would have happened? It's just a tough call that sucked in that moment in the game when the Rangers were really struggling for runs, really struggling for just base runners in general, right? So that's my take on the seventh inning infield fly call that wasn't. But the Rangers were just going 1, 2, 3 left and right today on the offense. I'll look at the box score. It's not going to be pretty, but I'll check it out. So box score today, we talked a little bit about Simeon. Simeon drew a walk today, but went 0 for 3. Seager 0 for 4. Langford 0 for 4. So anytime you got your top three hitters going 0 for, it's not going to be a great day. Garcia breaks up the no-no in the seventh. He goes 1 for 3 with the strikeout. Heim was 0 for 1 with the walk. And then we had Duran 0 for 1 with the walk as well. Walsh came on. He's the one that hit that little dinky pop fly on the infield, the controversial infield fly call that wasn't. And then Wenzel, I hope I'm saying that name right. I'm not incredibly familiar with him. I know he's been in the minors for a little bit now with the Rangers, was on the AAA team, just got the call up with Foscue going down with the injury. He's 0 for 2. Smith came in as a pinch hitter. He went 0 for as well, struck out. And then you had Kisner going 0 for 2 at the catcher spot, giving Heim a little bit of a day off behind the plate. Jankowski came on and could not get aboard. And then Taveras goes 0 for 3 as well. So Rangers only one hit today. I mean, that box score is going to be pretty ugly anytime you're only getting one hit. Wenzel. Okay. I'll take your word for it. I appreciate you. Like I said, not too familiar with him, and he hasn't done very much to start in his couple of opportunities. That doesn't mean he's not going to go on to be a great player, but a little bit of a slow start from him. We'll see. Just my overreaction. I'm a little bit worried about what the Rangers have got going on at the corners right now. Just with Duran and then, Smith. He's been a good player, Smith for sure. But those guys that they have right now are just not everyday guys, and the Rangers have played it as such. Smith gets the day off against the lefty. Duran's only playing in certain moments. Walsh isn't getting the start against lefties. They're really struggling to have that guy that they can just throw out there every day. And that's where Josh Young and that injury is hurting the Rangers a little bit, because you're really counting on the matchups and you're really counting on, guys coming through in those matchups and in those platoon opportunities that they're getting. So a little bit worried about that. I don't know personally what the solution could be for them. You look at the minor league team, the AAA roster, there's nobody you really look at and say, wow, we have got to get that guy up to the big leagues. I think they were trying to do that with Wenzel, but I don't know how he's going to pan out in his limited opportunities. I don't think there's any free agents or anything like that the Rangers could still go after. And I think the Rangers have shown that they're really not wanting to add anybody new. I think the overreaction for me is maybe you go out and sign a guy like Tommy Pham. Maybe that's the overreaction. He's obviously still a free agent, hit .421 in the World Series, hit a home run off us. Maybe, I think, in the overreaction scenario that we're going with here, Rangers go out and get a bat. He would probably slide in pretty easily into the DH role. You have Langford play left field, Carter play center, Garcia play right. And then you don't have as much to worry about with the mixing and matching. Obviously, I'm assuming Lowe is back healthy. I think Lowe is going to be counted on to produce pretty quickly. I think the Rangers need him badly. Last year, he could slump a little bit, and the Rangers could deal with it. I think this year, though, they need Lowe to step up and be a good hitter, and the hitter that he was in the first half of last year. Second half of last year, he had his moments. He didn't totally suck or anything, but let's be honest, he didn't have an awesome postseason, and he struggled at times in the second half. So I'm hoping Lowe can get back within the next week and a half, couple of weeks, and maybe he provides a boost. But the bat's going a little bit cold here in this second full week of the season. And we're just overreacting here. Look, the even keel reaction is it's a long season and everything's going to be fine. The bats are aplenty in the Rangers lineup. You just look up and down, and when healthy, the Rangers have one of the best offenses in the American League. So look, we try not to overreact, but if we are, you sure do wish they had somebody that they could call up or somebody that they could go out and get to help, because these mixing and matching scenarios they have going on right now at the corners, at first base and at third base, just not super ideal. And by the way, I'm seeing some comments coming through. What's up to everybody that's just joining? Appreciate y'all tuning in. Rangers lose a tough one today, 1-0. And we're going to get to the pitching in a little bit. I'm seeing some of y'all commenting on the pitching today, which was phenomenal. It was a really, really solid pitching performance. I think in these kinds of games, you always want to focus on the bright spots. Gray, I think, looked good today. I personally am not going to give him too many flowers today. I don't think that he had his best stuff today. This was kind of a crazy stat. Listen into this, because the radio guys just give you so many more little stats than the TV guys do. So I love that MLB TV. I couldn't watch it today, by the way, of course, because we were playing the A's. I live out in Vegas. The A's are claiming Vegas as a home territory. So have a good day too, buddy, by the way. A couple of guys are taking off in the chat, but Gray had 20 different foul balls hit off of him today. 20 different foul balls. So they were commenting on the radio how his swing and miss stuff just hasn't been there as much as it usually has. Now, he did have some swinging strikeouts today, for sure. He had, it looks like, 1, 2, 3, had about 4, 5, 6 swinging strikeouts. So he was getting some swings and misses, but 20 plus foul balls, it's a little concerning. I think that he's been not completely himself yet this year, and I was glad to see him settle, only allow the A's to score that one run. But as some of y'all are saying in the chat, it's the A's. You've got to take some of these games with a grain of salt, and it is concerning that against a team that, in my opinion, probably has the least talent in baseball. You're losing 1-0, 4-3 the other night. Just not ideal. Now, the great thing about baseball is that the Rangers could look absolutely amazing against the Astros Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's the beauty about baseball. They can flush this one out. They could come back this weekend and look incredible. And I think it's really fortunate that we're going into the series with the Astros where they just got pummeled by the Royals midweek. So I think that is a good thing. Both these teams going into this weekend series are a little bit down and out. And in baseball, you can always turn it around. Every day is a new day, and the Rangers could be the best offense in the American League and all of MLB this weekend. They have that ability to flip a switch and do that, but it's concerning that the A's series was so difficult. You would really think that they would have just dominated this series. Just dominated it with how I think competitively they played against Houston, against Tampa Bay, against Chicago, and Chicago's got a pretty good squad too. So really the first 3 series of the year, they played competitive teams. So I'm a little bit surprised to see that they struggled, but I do agree with this comment. They do play up and down to their competition sometimes. They really do. They will sometimes look like the most incredible team in the league against the top competition, and then they struggle against these teams that are sub 500. And you wonder what the why is there. I'm sure if you ask the players or you ask the coaches, they'd give you some player speak, coach speak response. But for me, maybe it is just, you're not mentally as sharp. You know that you're playing a team that's terrible, that doesn't have very much talent, and you take it for granted. It's hard to say. But look, John Gray, 9 strikeouts. The stats look great. Mike, want to show this comment. Appreciate all your comments today. The velo is down for Gray. It is. And 19 foul balls against the A's is not ideal. I mean, they're making contact that often, making you work harder, driving up the pitch count. That's not ideal. The slider, and I saw some replays of some of his strikeouts, the slider did look very good today. And it looks like he had 6 strikeouts with the slider. So the slider was filthy today. The velo's a little bit down. That is a concern. We'll see how John Gray does in his next start. Not sure who he's going to be going against. I'm going to try and pull it up here. Monday looks like we are playing the Tigers in Detroit. So we play the Astros in a 3-game set. Then we go and play the Tigers, who right now are 7-4. I think they are second place in the AL Central behind the Royals. Who would have thought? But the Tigers, that should be a competitive series. Tigers look like they got a little decent squad. They got some pitching. They got some bats. So the Rangers have a couple of competitive series coming up here. That's why against the A's, you really wanted that sweep. And I don't want to overreact, but you just always look back at series like this when it's September and the Rangers have like a 1 or 2 game lead, and you're like, why are we messing around with the A's? I mean, I know you can't do that too much, can't look back too much and play that game just because it's in the past, but seriously, like, we're going to look back. I know we are. We're going to look back on these games against the A's, and it's going to be like, why were we messing around with them? Why didn't we not just sweep the A's in this series and just create some separation between us and all the other AL West teams? Yes, sir. A lot of people have actually been asking me about this hat. My buddy Greg, by the way, hooked me up with this a couple months ago when he visited Vegas. I don't even think they sell this hat online. I wish they did, because a lot of people ask me, like, how do I get that? And I don't know. I don't think they sell it online. I haven't been able to find it because I've looked. I don't know if they sell it at the ballpark, but I do love this hat. Great hat. So shout out to my bud Greg for getting it to me a couple months ago when he visited. Appreciate you, but it is a great hat. I hope that they sell it just for the sake of me being able to refer people onto it. I feel bad turning people away. I wish there was an alternative, but nothing for now. But anyways, let's start moving things forward here. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other pitchers tonight. Latz, I've been really impressed with. Lefty, he's pitched the past couple of games against the A's. 2 innings tonight, 4 strikeouts. In fact, Latz struck out the side in the 7th inning. So Latz has been looking really good, and I've told y'all they really need to have a lefty that they can count on in the bullpen. And I really feel that if he can be that guy for the Rangers, that's going to solve some of those issues late in games where you're really wanting to match up lefty-lefty, but you just don't have anybody that you can trust. Do we really trust Burke in a high-intensity situation against one of the top lefties on the other team's lineup? I don't. I think Burke can get outs, but I surely don't trust Burke in a big spot against a big lefty to get an out. I would much rather have a guy like Latz coming in. He throws upper 90s. He's looked good, hasn't given up a run all season long. 0 ERA. Struck out the side in the 7th. Granted, it's against the A's, but at the same time, he's a guy that's going out and executing. I think that he could be a huge bright spot for us in our bullpen. And Urena, he comes in again and does a great job. Urena today pitched 2 innings as well. He also has a 0 ERA on the year. And these are guys that have pitched pretty close to 9 innings so far for the Rangers. I mean, I'm not 100% on that, but I think both those guys have pitched pretty close to a full game, if you will, of baseball. So to see them with the 0 ERA, excellent. Excellent. Couple other things too. Yeah, Miller. Man, wouldn't it be nice to have a guy like Miller in our bullpen to close out games? That dude was throwing straight up gas. We're talking about the Oakland A's closer today. Straight up gas. I was watching that Langford at bat, and Langford was facing, I think the fastest pitch was 104. 104. I mean, so Miller for the A's, their closer, throwing 104. And to Langford's credit, he was fouling stuff off and hanging. And Langford actually got 3 different pitches right down the middle in that final at bat. But when you got that speed that is just like almost untouchable, how fast it is, 104 is insane. It was 103.7 on the radar. And then he comes back with an 87 mile an hour slider. So you're going from 104 to 87 mile an hour filthy slider. Now, on the last pitch of the game that Langford popped up on, that was 87 mile an hour hanging slider right down the middle, and I think Langford just missed it. That's what it looked like to me. Now, who knows what Langford was sitting on, because you have to respect the fastball and then adjust to the off speed. You have to against 104. You can't be looking off speed and then he blows the fastball by you. It's just not going to work. But with that being said, Langford did a great job fouling stuff off and just making contact. That at bat impressed me. But I do think that he left some pitches right down the middle, kind of on the table. Probably could have driven some of those pitches, especially that hanging slider right down the middle at the end of the game. Could have made a big difference. Maybe Langford gets a solid hit somewhere. Maybe he hits the first homer of his career. You never know. And by the way, want to say hello to all the people joining in on YouTube. Appreciate the comments. Thank you guys, and see y'all for some of y'all who have got to take off early. Thanks for tuning in. So, Mike, I'm with you. Could we trade for a guy like Miller? Maybe. I wouldn't mind us getting a guy like him. I think that is what you need in a closer at this point. You need a guy that can throw 101, 102. Now, Miller throwing 103 and 104, that's ridiculous. I'd settle for 101, 102, but I'll surely take 104. Now, I don't know if it's worth trading your best guys for a guy like him, but he is absolutely, I think, the real deal. So that means he'll probably be traded this year by the A's. Let's just be honest. They're not going to be keeping him for too long. He'll be gone. Somebody will probably trade for him at the deadline. Just wouldn't shock me. But Miller is absolutely filthy with that slider coming in at 87 and then that 104 fastball. I mean, he got up. He was sitting 101, 102, but he just totally threw back and fired to try and get Langford out. Granted, like I said, Langford great at bat, fouled off a few pitches, just wasn't able to get it done. So let's go to some big questions here. I had a few big questions. So we had Carter sitting today. Carter sits today. And I just kind of wonder, have they really given Evan Carter a fair chance to hit lefties? I really feel like they need to play him every day. I would really like to see them play Evan Carter every day and just give him an extended shot at hitting left-handed pitching. I feel like you're taking a month from September last year and you're taking a little bit of the postseason, a little bit of this year, and you kind of jump into a little bit of a quick judgment. Now, some of y'all might be able to help me out. Maybe in the minors, he didn't hit lefties either, and that's what they're going off of. I don't know. But I just feel like they need to give Evan Carter an extended look against lefties. Play him every day, see what he can do, and maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. But it's your top prospect in the game, a top prospect in the organization. Maybe it's Wyatt Langford. We can debate that. But one of your top two prospects, let him play every day. Just let him play every day. If in 2 months from now, Evan Carter is hitting a $150 against lefties, okay. Now you have an extended sample size and you can really legitimately say he's not going to be playing against lefties. We're not going to do it. We're going to potentially, get him in the game when the righties come in, but against lefties, we're not starting him. I personally would just like to see them give him an extended look. I think that they haven't given him enough time to really work that out. And I just worry that they're going to kind of be stunting his growth a little bit in that area by continuing to bench him every time there's a lefty starter. And you're going to get him in a mindset too, where he sees the lefty coming up and, he gets down a little bit knowing that he's probably not going to get the start. So I'd like to see them give Evan Carter just an extended look. There's no reason why Evan Carter at 21 can't play every day. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with this. He's 21 years old. That dude can play every day. Marcus Semien is playing 162 games in his 30s. Evan Carter at 21 can play every day. Wyatt Langford can play every day. You have got to give guys like those opportunities, 100%. So I do think that they're jumping a little bit to the platoon with Carter, and I don't feel like it's the right thing. I hope to see him get starts against lefties so he can develop. I think putting him in a platoon role where he only faces righty starters is not good for him long term. So we'll see. Right now, they've kind of got a luxury in the outfield with so many guys that they can plug in. I know that's a part of it, but I would like to see them give Evan Carter an extended look and just play him every day. A couple of other things. Beyond that, tomorrow we've got a 7:05 Texas start. 5 o'clock-ish, I guess that'll be my time. So I'm sure we'll get in a live tomorrow after the Astros game. For the Astros series, I usually like to hop on 8th, 9th inning, watch the rest of it with you guys for whoever wants to join. But tomorrow we face JP France again. So last time against France, I think we actually fared pretty well. He went 5 2/3, gave up 8 hits, 2 walks, so 10 base runners in almost 6 innings, 3 earned runs. And we are pitching Dunning tomorrow. Dane Dunning throwing. He was actually kind of a tough luck loser against the Stros. Last time they went out, he pitched 6 2/3, 7 strikeouts, 4 hits, 3 walks. Was kind of the tough luck loser. I think that was that the game where we got no hit by Blanco for like 6 innings? I feel like it might have been. He was just kind of the no run support dude that game and pitched actually a quality start, but Dunning did not get the win against the Stros last time out. That being said, Dunning does not have very good numbers against some of the big bats in the Astros lineup. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. Altuve's hitting 462 off Dunning. Alvarez hitting 364. Pena, shortstop, hitting 385. Tucker's hitting 313. A lot of threes. Not a great look, but Dunning still pitched a great game last time against the Stros. Hopefully he can bring that same kind of performance. On the other side against France, Seager is hitting 600 against France in his career with 2 homers. So hopefully Siegs can rebound after an 0 for 4 with 4 Ks day today, hitting 600 against Astro starter JP France tomorrow night. Carter, I'm sure, will be back in the lineup. He hit 2 for 3, went 2 for 3 last time against France. Heim is 3 for 8 against France. So we've got some guys that have hit well against him. Astros are reeling a little bit after a tough series with the Royals. I would really, really like to see them get a good couple of wins in Houston, a place where they did very well last year, if you remember. And, of course, if you're a Rangers fans, you better remember that domination in Houston in the ALCS. I sure hope that continues. You know that the Houston fans are going to be up for this series. You know Garcia is going to be getting booed heavily every single at-bat, just like Rangers fans did for Altuve. So I'm excited for this series. It's just always a fun series with the Astros. And if the Rangers can take 2 out of 3, I'll be very, very happy. I mean, clearly I'll take a sweep. Won't mind that. But 2 out of 3 I think is reasonable in Houston. And then you go to Detroit on the road. So Rangers got a little road series coming up. But until Verlander gets back, I really do feel like the Astros are vulnerable. And I said this probably last week when we were playing them. You want to take advantage of the Astros right now. You don't want to let the Astros get healthy and then it's too late. Now it's a competitive division. You want to knock out the Astros and knock them down as much as you can right now. Because when they get healthy, you know they're going to hit that stride where they're winning 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 games. It'll happen. And you want some separation when they do hit their stride, when they do get Verlander back, when they get all their guys back healthy. So this is a series where the Rangers can put a little more separation between them and the Astros. And I think taking 2 out of 3 would be huge at this point. If you look at the division lead right now, Rangers are up a half game on the Angels, up 2 games on the A's. Can't even believe that looking at these standings. The A's are in 3rd place. Wow. Mariners are 5-8, 2 games back. Houston is 3.5 back right now. They did get swept by the Royals. So they're going to be looking to bounce back as well. But if we could be 5.5 back, if we could put the Astros 5.5 back, that would be absolutely phenomenal. That would be the goal. Astros are 5.5 back by the end of the weekend. Everybody goes home happy. So beyond that, one other thing, just kind of some bonus content here, non-game related today, non-series with the Astros. I noticed that Jordan Montgomery, of course, legendary pitcher for the Rangers in the postseason run to a World Series championship last year. Don't know if y'all saw Jordan Montgomery fired Scott Boras, fired his agent today. So that was kind of some big news, I think, in the baseball world. So Jordan Montgomery wanted a long-term contract, 4 or 5 years, 100+ mil. Rangers were just, I don't think, ever really solidly in the market for him with what he wanted. I would have loved for them to bring Monty back. In fact, I think when you look at this year, it might be nice to have him right now with everybody injured, but when the Rangers get everybody back healthy, they're going to be fine. I don't think they really need Jordan Montgomery. What I did love and what I do think the Rangers will miss about Montgomery, though, is he did seem to have the Astros number. So if we have to face the Astros in the ALCS or the ALDS again, it sure would have been nice to know you had Jordan Montgomery in your back pocket, a guy that just absolutely shut down the Astros last ALCS. But back to the news from today, don't really know who he decided to go with instead, but clearly you can tell he was just not happy with how everything went down, signing with the Diamondbacks at the very end of spring training, was it? I think it was like the last week before the season started. Monty signs with the Diamondbacks, and I think he's going to be debuting here within the next couple of weeks. But I just feel bad that he waited and had to wait that out so long. And I have to think that he was probably doing some deferring to Boris. You never know. I really don't think it's just me and just my feel for Monty and what he's like. I really don't think it was Monty that was holding things up. I really feel like Boris kind of had those 4 guys that he was trying to get contracts for, and he was just encouraging everybody to just wait. Somebody is going to break down and give you the deal that you want, and it just never ended up happening, right? Boris basically ended up getting very short-term deals for all those guys, for Bellinger, for Snell, for Chapman, and then for Monty. So I'm not shocked that Monty was not on board, and I'm not shocked that he's going with somebody different. So wish him all the best, unless he's playing the Rangers, of course. I think we square off against Arizona maybe a couple of times this year. Normally we play some NL West teams, so maybe we'll see him. That'll be a fun matchup. Hopefully we can hit a couple homers off him, and then we wish him all the best any other time he's not playing us. But I do think the Rangers might miss him in the postseason if we do get squared up with the Astros again. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was just one of those one-off postseasons for Monty where he just got hot and he was just lights out, and it's never going to happen again. I don't wish that for him. I would like to see him continue his success just because I like the dude and I wish him all the best. But we'll see if the Rangers end up missing him in the postseason, especially if we got to play the Stros again. So that's kind of the big news that I saw outside of the game today. Monty firing Scott Boras. So with that, guys, I'll go to the comments. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Let me see here. Scrolling through YouTube and everything like that. Thanks for joining in, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Just saying what's up to all the people that just commented recently. Appreciate y'all supporting the channel, tuning into the live. We're just talking Rangers baseball and baseball in general right now. Let me check out Instagram as well. Awesome, guys. Hey, I appreciate everybody coming, and we'll be continuing to do lives after most games. I don't know if we can do every single one, but we're on a good streak right now. It's just fun getting on, breaking down the game, and giving everybody a place to hash things out. I'll tell you what, especially after these tough losses, it's good to be able to talk things through with the Rangers fans. It's good therapy because losing 1-0 to the A's could drive you insane, legitimately. Losing 2 out of 3 to the A's, even more so. So with that, I am going to start wrapping things up here. Tomorrow I'll have a video out probably in the morning going through the pitching matchup, updating y'all on the system that I'm doing. Of course, betting 1 cent on Texas Rangers money line for every Facebook follower that I have. Not trying to bump it up to double digits and do all my followers across all socials. So we'll see. Maybe if the channel really takes off, I can pull that off. And I mean really takes off. But for now, we'll stick with Facebook followers. So we're betting around $20 at this point. Nothing too crazy. We're still up on the season, although we're hanging by a thread with our profit. But we'll get a couple of videos out to you tomorrow. And then we'll get on live probably for the 8th, 9th inning of some of the Astros games, and we'll go from there. So with that, let me check out just a couple more comments here. Yeah, I think Gray or Heaney probably are going to go to the pen at some point. I think Bradford, I think we talked about this on the live last night, is probably going to be like that 5th or 6th starter at this point, if I had to guess. I think if he continues to pitch like he's doing, he's going to stick in some way, shape, or form as a starter. A little concerned about Lorenzen. He had a pretty bad start. I think it was last night. It was his last rehab start. He was supposed to pitch in this A series. That's what I heard, but then they wanted to give him one more rehab start. And I think he gave up like 5 or 6 runs and gave up like 11 base runners in 5 innings. So I surely hope he was just working on something and that wasn't like him going all out. So if Lorenzen can give a little boost, that would be phenomenal. I'm with you. And I do think there's going to be some guys going to the pen, which will only help the bullpen. If you can use Gray or Heaney in a high leverage spot, that would be phenomenal, especially when you got guys like Spores that are injured. So with that being said, I got this comment any way I can donate. Just keep watching. Share, like, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. Right? Spread the word. Right on Rangers Live after every game. That's all I need at this point. So I appreciate y'all, and thank you for tuning in. We'll have, like I said, a couple videos out tomorrow. And as we always end with, God bless, guys. Go Rangers. Y'all have a great day and a good weekend ahead if I don't see y'all.